Well, the iPhone charging myth has been debunked. So apparently, several people, reputable agencies, outlets have tested this, and the new iPhone 16 series don't actually have 45-watt charging. I don't know where that came from, but there were actually some reputable outlets that were reporting that it had 45-watt charging. This did not come out of the Apple keynote. This did not come out of, I don't even know where it came from, but it surfaced somewhere. People ran with it, and I even had people fact checking me in my video saying, no, 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 you're lying. It's not the same charging as last year. It's got 45-watt charging. I'm like, I've charged this thing for a few days now, and this sucker definitely doesn't have 45-watt charging. If it does, it's something I don't know about. But apparently there was some extensive testing done, and basically it tops out at like 30. And then you still get the slower charging for like the MagSafe and all that stuff. But the word on the street was the iPhone 16 series, all four of them, supported 45-watt charging, and the best that they could really do is like 30 watts tops, and in most cases it's much lower than that because they do the adaptive charging thing just like Google does. It's not always running at 30-watt charging. It'll be like 30 for the first 10 minutes, then it'll drop to 20, then it'll 15 and 13. And there was a bunch of drama about this with the Pixel phones the last couple of years because they're like, oh no, it has like 27, 30-watt charging, but the effective charging rate was like 13 watts or something. Like it just throttles down so quickly, and you basically never see that. But what Apple advertises, I believe, is like 50% charge in 30 minutes. And that's typical, like I think quick charge 3 speeds. And maybe the port supports it. And I think that's one of the things. I think one of the concerns or confusion was that the port might be actually capable of a higher level of charging, but in reality, like it's just not turned on to do that. And I saw some weird things because somebody was talking about it, how they got like 100 or like 120-watt charger and hooked it up and somehow managed to get like just under 40 watts, but it was for like a very brief second while it was doing like a benchmark, like super powerful things that it was trying to do. It was really weird. And let me see if I can try my phone here. I want to read exactly what it was that I found. Of course, I've got like 18 different phones over here, so you have to bear with me 1 second. But yeah, I was looking at this stuff, and I'm like, all right, this is kind of funky. Here we go. All right, so the iPhone, yeah, with an Apple 35-watt compact charger, the highest speed attained with the 16 Pro Max was 30.59 watts. With the 35-watt Apple traditional charger, the highest it got was 30.55. Apple 67-watt charger, highest it got was 30.48. Apple 61-watt charger, 30.27. Even with the Apple 140-watt charger, they got 30.19. MagSafe comes in at 18.27. An Apple 20-watt charger gives you 18.86. And then Apple 10-watt charger gives you 7.24 watts. And then Apple 5-watt charger gives you 5.3. So yeah, it's still slow. It's just like I said in my previous videos. So I don't know where this actually came from. I don't know who figured this out. But the one thing I read, it says, all right, apparently this website called Charger Lab is the one that conducted this test, or at least part of the test, and discovered that with a 16 Pro Max reached a peak charging speed of 37 watts with a 140 watt USB-C power adapter. And it was unclear for how long it happened, but it was under like super strenuous conditions. Anyway, I think that was an anomaly. I think that's what that was. I don't think that's not something you can really report. So we're getting 30 watts pretty much across the board, at least when it comes to the Pro Max. And the charging speed really doesn't seem to have been meaningfully increased. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news, or well, maybe I'm not really, but I wanted to talk about this because it's always, there's two companies that cause this level of confusion. Apple, because they don't tell you what the actual stuff is. Like, what series memory is it? What's the clock speed? What's the charging speed? What are how many milliamps are in the battery? Apple is notorious for hiding this stuff and not telling you. And then Google is just as bad. Like, we're still sitting here like almost a month into these phones, and the Google Pixel 9, does it have 3.1 UFS? Does it have 4.0 UFS? Is it 3.1 in the 128s and 4.0 in the 256s? I don't know. And I don't have the hardware to test that stuff or the know-how or sophistication. So we don't run into these problems with a lot of manufacturers because most of them are straightforward. Like Samsung, straightforward. A lot of the Chinese companies, straightforward. OnePlus, straightforward. You get like a reviewer's guide, or they have these specs that are published, and it's very easy to see what it is, what's under the hood, and what it can do. So yeah, it's just an interesting predicament we find ourselves in. And it was very polarizing because I was saying, no, I'm pretty sure it's a regular charging. And then I would have people come after me going, no, it's 45 watts. It's 45-watt charging. It ain't 45-watt charging. And that's something that you can, if you charge phones pretty regularly, can figure out it's not 45-watt charging. It would charge faster. So anyway, about 30 watts is about the max you're going to get with a high-end charger. And that's the same thing with the Pixel phones. I mean, yeah, they're a little bit faster. What the Pixel 9 Pro XL does, what, 37 watts, and the Pixel 9 Pro does like 27 or 30. I don't know. I don't quibble over 3 watts. It's I almost said a bad word. I don't quibble over 3 watts. It's really dumb. So it's one of those things where I'm like, why? Like, why are people getting upset about this? It's pretty slow. At least Samsung, we know we get 45-watt charging, and that's fine. I think 45 watts is fair. I think it's a nice safe spot because there are still concerns, even though they've mostly been debunked in a lot of areas, where if you get higher charging, that it creates more heat, it damages the battery and causes battery health to go down faster. Maybe that was more true early on with the earlier battery technology, especially with like the QI charging coils, because they would get really hot. But with the QI2 standard, with the MagSafe stuff, with these chargers and these new batteries, like they pretty resilient. Like it's not really that big of a deal anymore. I don't think it's that big of a concern, but I think 45 watts is a good sweet spot. If we could just get everybody to 45 watts, that would be fine. But even still, you'll see something like the Z Flip come out with 25-watt charging, or you see like the S24 25-watt charging. You see, yeah, there's some slow charging still out there. The S24 Ultra, 45 watts. I'm perfectly happy with that. So anyway, sorry if I ruined your afternoon and you were sitting there telling all of your friends that you have 45-watt charging on your iPhone 16. You don't. You just have the regular old Joe Schmo charging, which again is mostly fine. Here's one of the things: the batteries on these things last really, really well. The iPhone 16 Pro Max, this sucker, I'm getting like 9 hours of screen on time, 8 hours of screen on time. You can hardly kill it in a day. Even under most normal usage, my iPhone 16 Pro, it would still last me all day. I would have to charge it when I would get home in the evening, but I mean, hey, it's not something where it's like, oh no, my life is over. That first 50% of charging is still fast. I mean, 0 to 50 in like 30 minutes. That's pretty darn fair. I don't see that being too problematic. It would just be nice if at some point we could all get on the same page and say, you know what? 45-watt charging would be good. That we've seen this around for a while. It seems pretty safe. I don't think there's much to worry about there. So that's it. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints, want to talk about the shininess of my forehead reflecting on the screen, or talk about a misaligned tile, go for it. I'm getting used to that stuff. Let's have at it. But if you have anything meaningful you want to talk about, I try to get back with you guys. And if you enjoyed the video, if you like the stuff, hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out, which is every single day. And lately, it's been like some two-a-days. So hopefully you like this stuff. As always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.